There's been frustration with regards to transportation in Accra recently. Now, you see a lot of people converge at one place waiting for a source of transportation. The bus system, trotros are heavily crowded. And this is really causing some huge problems in the city because obviously people have to go to work. Charlie, if you go work, then find something chop and also make sure that at least the economy is sort of kept running, right? But unfortunately for us, we are in a position whereby we don't know where the problem is coming from. And personally, I've been wondering, where is this whole thing coming from? I mean, it's not like it's something that we've not seen before, but not to this extent whereby it was consistent and it's like the growing number of crowd is becoming more and more. So I decided to actually go out there and then speak to the right authorities and people in charge of this that might have knowledge about what is actually going on the ground. So I spoke to some transport union authorities directly, and the findings are quite interesting because it's like, okay, some are drivers, some are union heads, and I spoke to the union head, and he was actually talking about the fact that sometimes it's related to the them not coming to the station. Well, because we have, when you come to Ghana here, we have organized station, right? So if you live in a particular town, you have your transportation system in particular space. Okay, so when you are, let's, for instance, you are in Adenta and you are in Medina, you know that when you go to Medina station, there's this particular place that you can get Adenta car. Though you can get it on the main road. Yes. But they are actually saying that some of them actually put themselves in that stress because they decide not to come to the station. Well, that one is, to me, is arguable. And if you've used, especially some of these main station and everything, you realize that it's arguable in a sense that it's sometimes you will get car at the main station, the same car that's maybe going towards where you are going, heading towards where you are going, you will get it at the main road. You can stand at the main road and then the car will pick you, especially when you are not going to maybe areas that are secluded or anything, like maybe where you stay is a bit close to the main areas or vantage points in Accra. You will almost always get like a car like Medina, Adenta, Spinters. You get a car at almost every main road in Accra. But that's some of their problems that they addressed. Well, then another person was also talking about the fact that it has to do with the growing number of people, right? One driver was actually saying that it's actually the growing number of people. Like the people in this country, like they come grow. Not this country, this Accra. He actually said that he doesn't know whether they are ghosts, right? They are ghosts. That they are, I mean, that was like on a lighter note, but all of a sudden he realizes that the number of people, the number of travelers have overly like clouded the number of cars in Accra. So let's say every day, it's not like we don't have buses in the city because obviously most of the drivers are also looking to make profits. So if there's more people, that means there's more money for them, obviously. So some of them even go to the extent of inflating their prices, right? So it's not like they are deliberately deciding not to pick the passengers, but in most cases, whilst these whole people are converged at one place, the buses will be full, and there's no way to Charlie. Oh, do you mean if I went in a car so? And I say, boss until we tire and I say, go feed the car in back. So they don't have any option but to maybe if they are, for instance, they are going to spin first and then maybe the car is full. The best they can do is to maybe rush and go and come and pick the people there. So it's like more or less like the number of cars in the system is not able to feed or transport the number of people, the commuters in Accra, which means that the number of the population in Accra is growing day by day. So after speaking to them, most of them gave their opinion off camera, but I realized that to me, and perhaps you, if you use public transport sometimes, you realize that that's perhaps the most realistic account of what might cause the problem. Because in most cases, you see people standing there and the drivers, most of the times you see that, yes, indeed, the cars are full. Like, the thing you make full, go finish to me in foul shame. Yes, so the problem is, it's causing a lot of wahala because now workers are being delayed. Students are being delayed to lectures, especially in the morning. Okay, the rush hours normally is in the morning and the evening after work. But you would say that compared to the evening one, maybe there's not much at stake like the morning, because the morning you have to go to work and be productive and make sure that things are in order. If you are going to school, you have to make sure that you catch the first lesson and everything. And the stress that is also putting on parents and a whole lot. So it's usually the morning rush hour that there's a lot of issue, even though the evening is also equally stressful, because what point you might now rest. If you go house, then go rest and prepare for the next day. But this is some cases people have to be by there, stand on their feet, and sometimes you have to literally you have to fight before you get the car. And whilst you are fighting, if you are not careful or you don't know the street game, somebody might even take the advantage to maybe steal something from you. Okay, so it's like most cases, some people, if you are not so aggressive, you don't have any option but to maybe stand around, stick around, and perhaps wait until maybe the crowd reduces, then you get a car home. Most people do it that way. If you don't want any wahala, you are perhaps thinking about, okay, why don't they take Uber? Well, some people, looking at the budget, the tight budgets that they are on with regards to the salaries they are taking. Look, the reality is in Accra here, most people, their salaries are even being invested in transportation already. Even with the normal transportation, public transportation, they eat their money. So the budget is already the Nippon and the budgets are toward that. And it's all say, oh, Sisiano, minya can't me the Uber bear masema, unless maybe he has extra income that is covering the Uber fare, because Uber might even be 3 times or 4 times more expensive than the transportation that maybe already is eating away his salary. So we know the system, it's not as easy as that. And even with the Ubers, personally, I've encountered a situation whereby even Ubers, it gets to a point you will suffer before they even, sometimes Uber, Bolt and stuff. Sometimes you struggle to actually get them to actually come and pick you. It's not only me. Some people have also actually seen this and they've also spoken about now. It's like it's a bit more difficult sometimes, especially in the evening on Sundays and stuff. It's difficult to get cars to even Uber to go to certain places. So it looks like at the end, it's more of a system problem. Okay, so the system is growing, the population is growing, and we don't know whose duty that is, whether it's the transport union's duty to sort of find a right solution to this problem, or is the Ministry of Transportation. Well, when it comes to that, the government has actually provided some level of relief packages by releasing some buses in there. We saw Honorable John Dumelo actually providing some, relief with regards to the people around his Ayawaso West Wagon, that area. He was picking people around Shiashi and transporting them to La Paz and stuff. So at least there's something that is being done. But even that, it doesn't really solve the situation, especially when you come to Medina, right? Because I live close to Medina. So when you get to Medina, Charlie, at night, it's not where if you come Medina, it'll be where it'll be the first way where the Maserati they that will be where they talk about. You see, I'm not talking about where the filling station did. That place, yes, it get busy, but Nyabotrehana pa Zongo Junction or Ibab Upa Zongo Junction or boy, Charlie, the crowd then did there. Sometimes you catch there, you see the number of people that are standing there at night during rush hour. Akamba, Charlie, you go feel weep give them. I don't know whether there's a concert going on there that maybe at the night they do some concert. There's people stand there to just pick some vibe. And I say it's the problem that we are talking about, because I don't know whether you've also noticed that place, Charlie. It's crazy. It's crazy. Say Ubenya car, Charlie, and Adom. I don't know whether some people don't know that the other side of Zongo Junction, that's the Maserati area or filling station, is a bit okay to stand there to get a car. But usually after the Zongo Junction, right after the Zongo Junction, that bus stop there, Charlie, Koho. So the situation is dicey. I'm sure so many areas in Accra, Kaswa, Spinters, and especially those that are traveling to long journeys, it's becoming very stressful for them. I mean, especially if you are leaving home to a job place, it's stressful. Oh. It's very stressful. I mean, if you have your own car, private car, you might not really relate with some of these things that we are talking about. But the reality on the ground is really stressful for most of the people in Accra. And we are hoping that the government or the transportation ministry will do something about it. They have already set in some stuff in or set in some buses in. We are still working on it. But I don't know how effective that one will be. I saw a driver. I think TV3 interviewed one driver and he was saying that the government shouldn't release buses in because when they do that, maybe most of the people will not patronize their transportation, which, well, it's a bit somewhere when you ask me because it sounds a bit self-centered. But I mean, that's what he's thinking. But the government has to at least provide some level of solution because if 3, 4, 5 years, we don't see any change in this particular thing, well, then unless it be a tour jets, right? Yeah, I say a tour jets, top fighter jets, and I say side jets. Now this share with you. Now with you, and so when then you go to your location because, and I say you got your, you have to try and get your even private car, like maybe tour Benz be, and I say when you scabia, and fast. I say right now the way the system can make, as I say here, but I say. Transportation and how to move from this place to this place has become very, very important to Accra. So boys so that's how dicey the whole thing is. And we are hoping that, and we are calling the transportation ministry to Charlie humbly try and do something about this situation because Charlie, on the ground, people are really suffering. And like I said, you might not see the stress when you have your own car and you sit in the comfort of your car, but I mean, we are a country, so it shouldn't be about just you or like your comfort zone. I mean, in a certain sense, we should also take care of everyone around, at least to provide some level of relief. At least, even if you are a worker, you are someone that's a company owner, it will affect you in a certain way because your workers might not have their private cars. They would have to depend on public transportation. And if it's not coming, it will affect your production. So this is something that we should all be concerned about. And I'm hoping that the transportation ministry gets to provide more buses, at least more buses that are subsidized to a certain extent to sort of make sure that this particular situation is a thing of the past. So that's what's happening with regards to the stressful situation that has currently, become a thing in Accra whereby people are struggling to get cars during rush hours in Accra. I don't know whether you've experienced this thing before, whether you think there's another reason why these things are happening. If you think there might be another reason, you can always feel free to add your comment. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more updates and more exciting content that we are cooking, right? The name remains Donald, not Trump. I'll definitely see you on the other side. Peace.